to this journey back through time into the intimate lives of medieval women. Whether you're winding down after a long day or already tucked comfortably in bed, I'm glad you've chosen to spend this time exploring history together. Before we begin, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from and what time of day it is for you. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know. Are you somewhere on the other side of the globe, just starting your day as I record this? Or perhaps we're passing the midnight hour at the same time, an ocean apart. If you enjoy relaxing to the gentle murmur of voices sharing stories from long ago, I invite you to click that subscribe button. There are many more peaceful meanders through history to come, but for now, make yourself comfortable and let your mind drift back to a time so different from our own, to medieval Europe around the 12th to 14th centuries. Imagine stone castles towering over muddy roads, thatched roof cottages nestled together in villages, and cathedrals piercing the sky. Bells toll in the distance as farmers toil in the fields and blacksmiths hammer away at their forges. In this world, life for women was often a mystery, their health shrouded in superstition and tradition passed down from mothers to daughters. With limited medical knowledge, medieval people faced the very human challenges of menstruation, pregnancy, and childbirth, with a mix of inherited wisdom, religious belief, and sometimes misguided ideas. Yet despite the limitations of their time, medieval women developed fascinating and occasionally surprisingly advanced practices around their menstrual cycles, fertility, and the birth of their babies. Over the next hour or so, we'll explore what life was really like for them, from the humblest peasant to the most highborn lady. Along the way, we'll meet some remarkable figures like the 12th century German abbess, Hildegard of Bingen, who wrote about women's health with startling insight. We'll witness the dangerous reality of childbirth in a time when giving life often meant risking death. And we'll see how women came together to support each other through these most intimate of trials. So let us begin our story in a world where the mysteries of the female body were explained not by medical textbooks, but by a tapestry of herbal lore, folk wisdom, and religious teachings. A world where red-stained rags and rushes whispered of hidden powers, and a woman's womb was believed to wander inside her body. The Middle Ages held many misconceptions about menstruation we would dismiss as mere superstition today. Menstrual blood was alternately feared as a dangerous toxin and revered as a potent elixir. Some believed it could cure leprosy, wither crops, or curdle milk. In the 13th century, writings of Pseudo-Albertus Magnus, menstrual blood is described as venomous, able to drive dogs mad, blunt swords, and cause trees to lose their fruit. Yet among these fanciful ideas, grains of truth and practical understanding emerged. In her book, Causae et Curae, or Causes and Cures, the remarkable 12th century Benedictine nun, Hildegard of Bingen, wrote with deep empathy about the pain some women experienced during their monthly flow and suggested soothing remedies like rest, hot compresses, and herbal baths. Born in 1098 to a noble German family, Hildegard was a true polymath, a writer, composer, philosopher, mystic, and naturalist. At the age of 8, she was tithed to the church and began her education under the care of a learned anchoress named Jutta. Despite frequent illness, Hildegard thrived intellectually, eventually founding her own monastery and penning works on subjects as diverse as theology, botany, and medicine. Hildegard's medical writings demonstrate a surprisingly holistic understanding of women's health for her time. She linked menstrual pain to diet and emotional distress, and argued that suppressing menstruation through extended fasting could endanger fertility. While some of her advice was misguided by modern standards, like using boiled puppy meat to treat cramps, her perspective was notably free of the misogynistic moralizing that colored many male writers' views of menstruation. For an average medieval woman, managing menstruation was an exercise in discretion and making do with simple materials. Linen rags, or strips of cotton fabric, washed and reused, were common menstrual dressings. Poorer women might use wads of soft moss or grass to catch their flow. These might be held in place by a belt or girdle around the hips. Bathing was infrequent, so odor was often masked with sprigs of sweet herbs like lavender or rosemary tied around the waist or neck. For pain relief, women might drink herbal tinctures of motherwort or thistle. These remedies were passed down from mother to daughter or shared in whispers between friends. A noblewoman, attended by maids, had the luxury of changing her dressings frequently. She might retreat to her solar or private chamber during her cycle. But for a peasant woman, there was little rest from daily labor. She might bleed into her woolen leggings as she bent to harvest wheat or trudged to market with a basket balanced on her hip. Despite the messy realities of menstruation, a woman's monthly cycle was seen as an important sign of her fertility. Irregular bleeding was often treated with herbal brews or bloodletting in an attempt to restore balance. A woman who bled too much was thought to be at risk of losing her vital essence, while one who bled too little might be congested with toxic humors. The cessation of menstruation, then, was a signal that a new chapter was beginning. The perilous and promising journey of pregnancy. In a time when childbirth was the leading cause of death for women, the stakes of that journey could not have been higher. One of the youngest recorded mothers in medieval Europe was Margaret Beaufort, who would go on to become the formidable matriarch of the Tudor dynasty. Born in 1443 to a wealthy English family, Margaret was just a child herself when she was married to the king's half-brother, Edmund Tudor, at the age of 12. At 13, Margaret became pregnant. Petite even by the standards of her time, the delivery was incredibly difficult for her young body. After a prolonged labor, she gave birth to the future King Henry VII, but the ordeal left her unable to bear more children. Margaret's experience, while extreme, was not unusual. Many medieval women gave birth in their teenage years, their bodies not yet fully developed. Prenatal care in the Middle Ages was a mixture of sensible advice and superstition. Health manuals like the 13th century Regimen Sanitatis Salernitanum, or the Salernitan Rule of Health, emphasized the importance of moderate exercise, fresh air, and a diet rich in white meats like chicken and fish. Pregnant women were advised to avoid strong emotions like anger or grief, believed to adversely affect the baby. Spiritual practices were also thought to ensure a healthy pregnancy. Expecting mothers might wear charms or amulets decorated with symbolic gemstones, or recite special prayers to the Virgin Mary for protection. Some even undertook pilgrimages to holy sites, hoping for blessings and divine intervention. Midwives, respected women in the community with practical experience in childbirth, played a key role in prenatal care. They might prescribe herbal tonics and poultices, or advise on diet and activity. As pregnancy progressed, midwives began to make regular home visits, palpating the mother's belly to assess the baby's position and growth. Yet even with a skilled midwife's care, pregnancy was fraught with dangers. Miscarriage was common, and often attributed to supernatural causes like witchcraft, demons, or the evil eye. A woman who miscarried might be viewed with suspicion, her womb deemed corrupted or cursed. As the expectant mother neared the end of her pregnancy, female relatives would gather to assist in preparations for the birth. Linens were washed and aired, candles and lamps readied to light the birthing chamber. A fire was kindled to warm the room and boil water for cleaning. The midwife would assemble her tools, scissors to cut the umbilical cord, thread to tie it, and herbs to steep for pain relief. When labor began, the mother might clutch a relic or saint medallion, praying in between contractions. Her companions would massage her back and belly with oils, offer sips of calming teas, and murmur encouragement. The midwife would monitor the baby.